Hey, what's up, guys? This is your Minnesota Overlander Jacks. Usually on Saturdays, I know we have the Sin City Tactical collaboration. This week's going to be a little different, though. There is some personal matters that are being taken care of on everybody's side with the whole team. So just bear with us. I'm still putting on a show for you guys tonight. And we'll kind of get into it. We'll have some of the main Saturday topics that we usually go over and cover. And if you guys are out there watching or listening to this and you have anything to say or you want to chime in, feel free to do so. I'd love to interact with you. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and, do tonight's show on a bit of a different level. This is obviously a Saturday night T.N.O here on the Minnesota Overlanders. It's not Thursday, and we are missing out on content for the collaboration portion of things with myself, Wes, and the rest of the team. So with that being said, welcome to the Saturday night show. And we're going to get the ball rolling. Like I said, sticking to some of the similar topics. One of the shout-outs I want to go ahead and do here is obviously starting out with the websites, minnesotaoverlander.xyz, sincitytactical.xyz, ng3survival.com. You can see those website names scrolling there at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and check out the websites over there. We have some goodies up on our merchandise stores. It's funny because we're still in the process of finalizing, at least to my knowledge, the Sin City Tactical Ugly Christmas Sweater, which should hopefully be done within the next week. With that being said, Minnesota Overlanders, we have our Ugly Christmas Sweater up. We also have new stickers and everything else for merchandise over there. So with that being said, we're going to continue on with the show. And if you guys on YouTube anyways are watching and have seen the new sponsorship that I put out, a buddy of mine that I do my 9 to 5 with is a local music label producer. So basically what he does is produce music for local music artists. Matter of fact, one of the music artists he produces for works with us, and they just dropped a new album, which on Thursday I will have the CD case here to show you the emblem cover. But until then, this is what I'm going to do just to give you guys not even a sneak preview, but a intro into what's going on. So when I say we are sponsoring B&E Music, what I mean by that is this. It's a buddy of mine's. He produces music. They dropped their newest album from Born Hated, which features Warris the Human. So, in promotion of all of this, I'm going to go ahead and show their Facebook page. I'm going to quick do a solo of that screen to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So, they have been doing this for over 5 years. And with that being said, matter of fact, this is the album that I currently own. A bunch of good music from local rap artists. And, this isn't necessarily to say go check it out, because you guys are going to do what you want. We have a freedom of opinion and everything else, but in my opinion, being as we're on the freedom of opinion subject with this for a minute, this is one of the best local artists groups for music that I've come across in a long time. They have talent. They definitely know what they're doing. So when you're on my YouTube page, I'm going to go ahead and unsolo this, quit sharing that screen, and show you exactly what I'm talking about. Just so you guys are understanding exactly where I'm going with this. So, and again, for YouTube, if you guys are out there, this has already been talked about between myself and the producer over at B&E Music, and they have already been tracking, if you will, that I am putting them as a sponsored page. So this is going to be just a brief intro to it here for those of you that are out there that want to check out, good local artists. So this is the Minnesota Overlander YouTube page. Obviously, we got a current live going, but Cincinnati Tactical, Wes obviously is a sponsored channel on my end, just like I am on his end. But then B&E Music is also another sponsored channel on the Overlander side of things. And with that being said, we are not getting any kickback from any of this. So this isn't a business partnership type ordeal. It's strictly for the promotion of good music and great artists that are localized here in the Twin Cities area of Minnesota. Looking forward to working with a few other podcast artists as well. I do have a couple other people down the road that I could definitely have on the show after I set up an interview with them and get things lined up in the proper way to get them on the show. So stay tuned for that as well. But in honor of Born Hated's new album dropping, I'm drinking out of their beer glass tonight. So shout out to Born Hated. A couple other shout outs I want to do here quick. And this isn't necessarily tying into B&E Music anymore, so we're going to move forward, is the NCCA and TACX Pro Gear ambassadorship that we have going on the Minnesota Overlander side. Using this promo code Overlander25 will get you 15% off of your purchase at NCCA on their gear there, and then 25% off your purchases over at TACX Pro Gear. So go check that out. Use a promo code, get yourself some goodies, and enjoy it. Now, obviously missing Wes this week, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in a couple of other shout outs and move forward. So the two main ones on Saturdays that we usually throw out are Controlled Pair Munitions down in Las Vegas, Nevada. Go check them out over there if you're in the Las Vegas, Nevada area. And, if you walk into the store and Wes is working, tell them that, especially whether you've been around for a while or you're just seeing it on this episode, tell him Jack sent you and he'll take care of you. And, again, this is all a family when it comes down to the overall brand. So go in there, tell him Jack sent you, and he'll take care of you. He'll guide you in the right direction. He's not going to, give you a discount or anything unless it's something that's, already on sale. But that's just because the business has to make money. So I'm not trying to take away from Controlled Pair Munitions. So that's not even in the works yet. Next shout out I want to do is for Wendy over at Sight Shooter. She is a, for lack of a better term, a shooting instructor. She has classes for CCW. With COVID going on, she's probably not going to be providing ammo, but, paper targets definitely are going to be there for you guys to go through the course and shoot at and get your CCW. And like I've said in previous podcasts, not a lot of people that I know that are in that career field that teach CCW outside of maybe the gentleman that I went through his course myself is willing to help train, provide, equipment and things of that nature for you to go through the course and take the class. Yes, the Minnesota Overlanders logo is hanging out in the upper right-hand corner, but it's Saturday. I got to rock my Sin City Tactical as always. So, Wes, if you're watching, in between taking care of what you got to take care of, or if you even see this after the fact or hear it on the audio side, I got this. Now, moving forward here, the next thing I wanted to jump into is obviously our tactical gear review item of the week. Now, the reason I say that is we've been talking a lot lately about the gear that I purchased with the 550 cord and everything else like that. So the brand that makes all of this stuff is Ozark Trail. Now, the kit came with some OCP colored 550 cord. I went out and bought a roll of their 1100 paracord, but that's not the tactical gear item. It's always nice to have extra paracord on hand. And the reason I say it's always nice to have extra paracord on hand is because of this. Remember that axe I was talking about last Saturday, or that hatchet, if you will? This is it. Comes with 3 size hex head slots in it for you to bust open bolts, whatever the case may be. It's got a nice little groove built in right there. You can use it for, bottle opening, things like that, cutting wood, for fire. The blades on these things come already pre-sharpened, which is nice. However, this also comes with 550 paracord wrapped around it. Probably about another 4.5, 5 feet worth, give or take, which is awesome. I love the fact that there's paracord around the handle of both this and my EDC knife, because in a hitch, if I don't have the bag on me and, I have this on my belt, or I got my EDC knife on my belt, I know I have 550 paracord if I'm ever in a jam and need some paracord. Now, overall, it's not that big of a axe in general, but it does definitely provide you with enough leverage as far as the handle goes to start cutting into something and chopping things. So that's kind of nice. And like I said, I like the in-groove hex head feature. It's a multi-versatile hatchet. Now, as I said too last week, all 3 of the blades that come in that kit come with their own sheath. And this one's not as elaborate. Does have a small little pocket in there. I'm sure I could stick the fire starter in there if I wanted to and strike it against that, for in case I didn't have the machete or the hat or the blade on me, and that's cool. But, it's basically just a nice little, I wouldn't even call it Kydex. It's more so, well, the inside might be Kydex, but the outside's more of your usual, not pleather, for lack of a better term, almost like a nylon. And with that being said, it's easy to, fit in there too. Just slides on in like that. It's got rivets on the end of it. And then once it's in the actual inside pocket of the sheathing, you just go ahead and fold the Velcro over, close it up. Again, on the back of this, it has a belt loop slot. I've been running it in the, not bug out bag, but EDC bag, because you never know when you're going to need spare paracord, let alone an axe. I mean, you could be going for a walk and decide, I want to have a bonfire, chop some wood, call it a day there. But with that being said, that's my tactical gear item of the week. I know the other guys probably have a few other things in mind for next week to catch up on the tactical gear item, and that's totally, within reason for this week. Next week, I'm going to have a kind of a pairing item for the tactical gear review, so stay tuned for that. Now, moving forward here in the podcast show, I do just want to take a minute to talk about the fantasy hockey league that I have running. And I know on Saturdays we usually don't talk about it, but this is just something for future reference for everybody out there. Whether you're a Minnesota Overlander fan, Sin City Tactical fan, nonetheless, what it comes down to is this. Right now I have a ESPN Fantasy Hockey League that I just started. I've got 8 or 9 slots to fill by Friday of this upcoming week before my draft happens. Season, though, does not start until January 1st. So from draft date until January 1st, we'll have time, after the draft to trade players, keep an eye on things, do watch lists, things of that nature, pick up players off of waivers, things of that nature. I know myself, Wes, have already been going back and forth over hockey, as you've seen on Thursday night show. And for those of you that are on the listening side of things, to view all of Thursday night show, you're going to have to go on to Facebook. That was kind of an exclusive thing. Me and Wes kind of tallied up and agreed that that was going to be an exclusive episode for live stream viewing only. And, there's going to be certain episodes that are going to be listening stream only, especially on my side. So maybe, not this Thursday, obviously, but maybe in a couple of weeks on a Thursday night, it'll be a specifically audio specific podcast that gets put out. So the viewers that tune into our channel, go ahead, check out the audio side of things as well, whether it's Apple Podcast, Google Play, Spotify, not Anchor, but Breaker. You could even check it out on Anchor if you guys are looking to start a podcast of your own, and search up the Minnesota Overlander on anchor.fm and check that out. Now, with that being said, I do want to continue moving forward with this. So we're going to go ahead and move on into pro Second Amendment news. Now, those of you that watch Saturday's show between myself and Wes, we have news stories that we cover every Saturday from both the pro Second Amendment side of things and from U.S. news or global news, things of that nature. So with that being said, we're going to move into your pro Second Amendment news of this week. And bear with me. With that being said, moving on into this week's Pro 2A topic for Pro 2A news falls from US News, and the title of this article, and again, disclosure, any articles or videos that are being shown in the live stream are strictly for educational purposes only, and we own none of the rights to any of the news articles that we show on the stream. So if you are the owner of the copyrights to these articles or videos and you have a problem with us showing them, please feel free to reach out to myself or Wes. You can reach me at deadmanincairsoft@outlook.com, and I will be more than willing to not show any of your guys' content. However, the content that is being shown is strictly for educational purposes in the Pro 2A and in world news. So this week is gun control and gun rights. So right here it says Second Amendment to the Constitution, which concerns the right to bear arms, is always a hot button issue, especially during election season. And I'm not going to disagree with that, but continuing reading the article here, it says gun rights and gun control groups alike have been lobbying Congress for decades to craft legislation in their respective favors. Twice in the past 2 years, the gun issue has reached the nation's highest court. In the 2008 Supreme Court case, District of Columbia versus Heller, the court ruled that the Constitution protects the individual's right to own a gun for personal use. But the 5-4 decision only applied to the federal laws and failed to address local and state laws. Thus, in July 2010, the Supreme Court ruled that the federal right to bear arms also applied at the state and local level. The ruling lifted a nearly 30-year Chicago gun ban. The NRA, and for those of you that don't know what the NRA is, says it right here, the National Rifle Association, called the ruling a landmark, but the decision did not specify what kind of gun laws can be applied to the Second Amendment. The real challenge is going to be getting law-abiding citizens access to it, said NRA Vice President Wayne LaPierre, depending on the pronunciation, after the ruling. Both gun rights and gun control groups will likely continue to lobby Congress on this issue to either blunt or sharpen the ruling. Now, with what I've just read here so far, I will agree. The whole gun right and gun control topic, if you will, has been a hot button issue, even outside of election season. But election season, it seems to get a lot hotter just because every time there's an election, whoever's running for office is always talking about, not even adjusting, but manipulating, for lack of a better term, the Second Amendment right of all of us Americans out there. And, they only can do so much in their term in office, and some of them do more in one area and less in others. But as long as I've been alive in 25 years, gun control has mainly just been background checks extensively, going through the proper procedure for your CCW, obviously going through the class, things of that nature. So moving forward here into this article, I want everybody to keep this in mind. It's not about what gun control is and isn't, and it's not about what gun rights is and what it's not. It's about the fact that the Second Amendment right of all of us Americans should not be infringed upon. If you want to exercise that right, you should go through the right channels, and do the process the legal way. Don't go through it the wrong way and just expect that nothing's going to come of it, because I'm going to tell you this first thing. I've seen a lot of posts, in ad form on social media where they're like, oh yeah, come take an online CCW class, and in 30 minutes or in as long as it takes to watch a hour-long block of a actual news broadcast, you could have your CCW permit. Well, the thing people fail to realize is going about it that way is going to lead you down the wrong path. Go to an actual course, physically sit in the class, take the written test, go out on the range, do your behind the trigger training, which is basically about 30 rounds on target. Not too hard to do. I know for mine, we were at about 25 yards away from target, so we had plenty of room to shoot down range and hit our target and get shots on paper. Now, as long as you can prove to your instructor that you're able to get shots on paper and you're accurate with your firearm, you're not doing anything stupid, you're able to load, unload, show clear, and keep your muzzle. And I can't stress this enough. In CCW classes, keep your muzzle pointed downrange, or even at any time at the range. Keep your muzzle downrange. It's just proper etiquette. It's the right way to go about it. Nobody's going to freak out at you or kick you off the range if you keep your muzzle downrange. Now, moving forward here, it's again, it's just common sense and common decency and proper range etiquette. Now, moving forward here, though, for time constraint purposes, we have USA News, which kind of ties in with the whole Pro 2A thing. Maybe not so much this week's USA News, but definitely ties into my portion on Saturday's usual showing. So I'm going to go ahead and show this in screen as well. And we'll get into the news article for this week's USA News. So it says Vanderbilt kicker Sarah Fuller becomes first woman to score in Power 5 college football game. So Nashville, Tennessee says Sarah Fuller, Vanderbilt soccer player, will add a football to her trophy case. And so will the College Football Hall of Fame. After making an extra point kick against Tennessee on Saturday, game official Chris Garner chased Fuller to the sideline and handed her the football. It was a memento for her historic feat of becoming the first woman to score in a Power 5 college football game. She made another extra point kick in the fourth quarter of a 42-17 loss, and that ball was also retrieved. The first football will stay with Fuller. The second football is headed to the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Now, that just kind of, shows a bit of a video. We'll go ahead and play that here.
And here comes Sarah Fuller onto the field. Now, last week, 2 weeks ago, rather, she made history as the first female to ever kick off at the Power 5 level. Now she can be the first to make an extra point at the Power 5 level. Right through there. More history on display for the Vanderbilt Commodores and Sarah Fuller. How about that celebration with their teammates? No longer just a one and done, right? She's part of this football team. See the Fuller family. What a moment for Sarah and her family. Great kickoff 2 weeks ago in Como. Now an extra point. She's on the board.
And that's awesome. Before I read the rest of the article here, this kind of ties back into some of what we talk about with your First Amendment right to freedom of speech and then your Second Amendment right. Football for the longest time has been an all-male sport. It's cool seeing women getting involved and into the actual sport itself and making historic moments like this. I think this is the first time that I've actually heard of a female football player, at least at a collegiate level, that has been publicized this big in a news article for making history for the actual school and the divisional league that the college plays in. So that's awesome. Matter of fact, I'll take a note on this, and in a future show, I will update you on Sarah Fuller's future as far as football goes. I could possibly see it that if NFL ends up bending the rules a little bit, she could get drafted. I don't know exactly how that would work, but it's a possibility. Nothing is ever a impossible situation. So, getting back to the article, it says, after all the chaos, one of the refs handed me the ball from the first extra point kick, Fuller said, and I would like to keep it if that's possible. That's pretty cool. Why football is headed to Hall of Fame. This was the second football game for Fuller, the goalkeeper for Vanderbilt's SEC Tournament Championship soccer team. On November 28th, Fuller became the first woman to play in a Power 5 game, including the SEC. She followed New Mexico's Katie. I'm not even going to butcher the last name, but if I had to take a long shot at it, I'd say Hida, thinking maybe the N would be silent, from 2003, and Kent State's April Goss of 2015, who both scored points as kickers in FBS games, though in group of 5 conferences. That list started with Liz Heaston, who kicked 2 extra points for Willamette, then an NAIA program in 1997, and it continued with Brittany Ryan, the all-time NCAA female scoring leader with 100 points as a kicker at Division III school, Lebanon Valley, from 2007 to 2010. So that's football right there. From Sarah Fuller's second PAT kick, it will go to the College Football Hall of Fame. Per Vanderbilt, Fuller keeps the first point after touchdown ball that she put through the uprights, obviously. Even Tennessee coach Jeremy Pruitt realized the significance of Fuller's kicks. I think it's awesome having a daughter this past year. Consider the opportunity that Sarah Fuller has probably created for other young ladies that maybe want to follow that path one day, Pruitt said. I think it says a whole lot about her and really her fortitude to be brave enough to go do this. Now, this kind of last part of the article I'm going to read here, but this kind of goes into Fuller's side of things. It says, Fuller was added to the roster for her first game because kickers Pearson Cook and Wes Farley were out due to COVID-19 contact tracing. They returned against Tennessee. So why did Fuller still attempt extra point kicks? Interim coach Todd Fitch said kicks were charted by special teams coordinator Devin Fitzsimmons in practice. Fuller was highly accurate on extra point kicks and short field goals. Cook was better from long range. He made a 39-yard field goal and missed a 54-yarder against the Vols a month ago. Coach Derek Mason took Cook off extra point kicks because he had struggled making short kicks. Now, with that being said, like I said, it's awesome that this is happening. Not a lot of people in that position, at least, make historic moves like that. And, I know I've heard a lot of times that a lot of women want equality, or they're fighting for equality, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. This woman's not just talking about fighting for it. She's going out there and taking it into her own hands and proving, obviously, not only to her teammates and her coaches and her team and her school, but to everybody that's a sports fan, that a female can kick a football through the uprights just as well as a male can. Now, obviously that's at a PAT range, which is from about, if I remember correctly, about 33 yards away from the field goal itself. So keeping that in mind, that's a bit of a decent range drive. And she's out there killing it. There's already been 2 footballs put through the uprights. First one she got to keep. The second one's going to the College Hall of Fame. So that's awesome. Now moving forward here with this, we're going to give you a little something special. And this isn't even a Saturday night ordeal. But just because it's on the Overlander channel, and I know you guys missed out on this on Thursday's episode because there was other pressing matters. Obviously, I jumped in on promoting my buddy's label tonight, which I'm sponsoring as well, which is awesome. But with that being said, we're going to go ahead here and give you guys a Saturday viewing of r/idiots with guns. And again, none of what's shown in streaming is our content, and it definitely if it bothers anybody, let me know. Again, you can reach me at deadmanincairsoft@outlook.com. Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into this r/idiots with guns. It says, does my friend count? Now, it says innovation at its best, and, don't get me wrong. We're pro Second Amendment, but there's a difference between your vehicle and your rifle. Yes, I'm all for rifle mounts mounted in the back seat of your truck, holding your rifle. If you're out hunting, whatever, or you just want to, store your weapon in your trunk if that's legal or truck on a gun rack if that's legal in your area, that's totally cool. I get it. But I would never hold my hood up with a shotgun. And the reason I say that doesn't even have anything to do with it going off necessarily. But the way I see it is so many things could go wrong with this configuration and the way it's sitting that it's not even funny. For starters, let's face it. He's got a Mo2 grip on a shotgun, which I would assume by the looks of it, and now granted, this is just going off of looks, is possibly a 12 gauge shotgun. It could be a 10 gauge, but I'd put my money on it's 12. You're holding by the looks of it, a Ford, not F-150, but Ford Explorer hood up with the shotgun. If it falls over and you do have any round in the chamber, yes, there's a possibility of it going off if it were to fall out of the side and hit the ground. Then you also have to take into account truck hoods, car hoods, doesn't matter what side of the fence they fall on. The hood weighs a little bit. So you possibly could mess up your barrel. And then you're just spending, unnecessary amounts of money, not only fixing your vehicle if you're having to use it to hold up your hood, but to fix the barrel of your shotgun. And, it's ridiculous. Some of the things that I've shown, and I know the last video that I've shown with the r/idiots with guns promo here on the, well, not even promo, but showing, got removed off of YouTube for content because I was scrolling through things too quick and showed things that even for myself I didn't agree with being on a live stream. It's one thing if you view it just from the website and it's you personally, but showing it on a live stream doesn't really make a podcast live stream look good. So with that being said, remember, people, guns are guns, cars are cars. Don't spend too much money dropping into a old vehicle if it's not going to stay up and running and keep going from point A to point B. And definitely don't go spending unnecessary amounts of money on fixing a firearm that you stupidly broke for doing something like this, or even take the risk of it falling out sideways and discharging from hitting the ground if he had a round in the chamber. So that was r/idiots with guns. Doesn't look like we currently have any viewers, but we're going to go ahead here and just kind of slowly start wrapping things up just in case somebody does pop in and want to comment on anything you've seen in this show, heard on past podcasts, things of that nature. I'd be more than willing to answer questions, so feel free to interact. Again, promo code for NCCA and TACX Pro Gear is Overlander25. It'll get you 15% off your gear at NCCA and 25% off your gear at TACX Pro Gear. So again, use the promo code, get yourself some goodies. They have, everything that you could think of: holsters, gun mount magnets. I even believe there's tactical flashlights on there too, which is kind of nice. I know I showed them my tac light, but they have actual rechargeable ones out there. I could turn mine into a rechargeable one, but what I got mine for was kind of an overall kit. Pardon the yawn, it's getting a little late here. It's about 10:45, so never mind the yawn. Anywho, another big shout out to the newest Minnesota Overlander sponsor, B&E Music. Shout out to Born Hated. Music's good. Artists are awesome. They're multi-talented. Check them out. Definitely go to the Overlander YouTube channel. Check out the sponsored section. Click B&E Music to check out the YouTube content. And I will go ahead and after the live stream tonight and post on the Minnesota Overlander Facebook page a link to the B&E Music Facebook, and we'll have fun with this. I know I have the actual audio tracks coming my way that I've already been given permission by the producer to play into the podcast. So I'm definitely going to utilize that and let you guys check out some of their stuff as well. Matter of fact, speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead here and at least pull up one of the songs off of their album that I currently have, just because Warris is one of the guys I work with, and the overall quality kind of reminds me of old school 90s rap. There's definitely a vibe to it that not a lot of people have heard in quite some time. So I'm going to go ahead and share this and mute my mic while you guys check this song out. So we're going to go ahead and do a share of screen one last time for the episode. And wrong screen. Go ahead and check it out. So that song was titled Haters by Born Hated, featuring Warris the Human, produced by B&E Music. Check it out. If you want to book these guys, I will link their booking in the description below and get that set up for you guys. But it even has it on their nice little beer mug at officialbornhated@gmail.com. Check those guys out. There's many other artists coming out of B&E Music. Once I get that stuff emailed my way, I will put all of that out to you guys over time every Thursday. Again, check out Thursday Night Overlanders on Thursday nights on the Minnesota Overlanders channel right here. We start at 7 p.m. Central Time, which is 5 p.m. Pacific. So check us out, hang out with us. It's been fun. And we'll catch you guys on a Thursday night show, all right?